Hello and welcome back, Sensitive Gangsters. I have a little reading for you. I'm going to try to keep it short this time because the other videos have been really long. For anyone who's actually watching this, I hope you're interested. I hope this helps you out in any way. But yes, I did set an intention for this reading, which is kind of asking about the energy surrounding you when it comes to your spirituality, any kind of spiritual practice, like what is the energy coming from other people around you, especially like people who are close to you, family, friends, partners, colleagues, other students like around you, whatever your situation might be. um yeah, I'm kind of like figuring out the story with that. um it's definitely an interesting energy here because we have the Hierophant. I think this is the High Priest. Yeah, it's number 5 in the Major Arcana. So it's like tradition and conformity, right? Moral and ethics. But I feel like this could be interpreted as like a religious leader. And I ask it specifically like how other people, it wasn't about your own spirituality and how it manifests. It's more about what is the energy from other people noticing that there's things happening with you. You might not even be very open about it. You might be talking about it a little bit, but yeah, we kind of want to understand what is the energy surrounding you, what could you expect like coming from other people, or what is something that has been already manifesting um in your life right now. And I feel like the Hierophant, or the High Priest in this case, is very much like tradition. Like someone might, refer to their religion or religious tradition to guide you, or try to guide you, or try to tell you, what you should do, or look at it from that perspective in a way. They might not even interact with you or anything, but it's more like, what is the energy, right? So yeah, well, the affirmation for this card is actually, I can find belonging with people that accept me as who I am. A man of the faith, the Hierophant is knowledgeable of the old ways of tradition and morality. He believes that the keys of wisdom are meant to be followed, that breaking away from the path can lead to decay. Thus, his role is as a spiritual advisor and the defender of the ancient truths. His appearance can indicate undergoing a time of study or going along the tried and true paths in life. So I feel like it could definitely also represent your journey with spirituality, like, because that could also be the energy that is now like kind of coming also from the outside in a way, that's like coming into you, like that is affecting you. So we could also interpret it like this, because there is a long, I don't know, like I don't know much about tarot history, but I know there is a long history. Like it's not a universal thing, like it's something that has been around for some time. And when it comes to belief systems, to things that we can't really prove, or like or neither deny or prove, what am I trying to say? um like you can't prove or deny that God exists, for example, right? Like that's what I mean. Like there are things that people have been practicing for millennia, for like so long, before any kind of religion stepped in its place, because the church really is more of a form of control and using power to control people. So it's not really, it's not necessarily um tied to spirituality. Even like you could be a spiritual person and you could believe in God and you could be religious. That all could happen. But within your religious community, there's a good chance that people aren't even spiritual. They're more like just following whatever system is already in place and feel like they feel safe with it because other people also do the same thing. And it kind of like, it just gives this herd mentality, right? Like it can make you feel like part of a larger group, like part of your larger community. And I don't even, I wouldn't even judge people. The point is, there is something to say for that just because you're religious doesn't mean you're spiritual, doesn't mean you have like a spiritual connection in any way. And like that is the thing, like people talk about this all the time, like, oh, I have found God, or I haven't found God yet, or like God doesn't speak to me, God speaks to me. These types of experiences aren't necessarily just part of your life just because you're part of a a church, right? Um, and that's the thing, like it comes really from your own spirituality, from your own practice with yourself when it comes to believing something, like belief systems and rituals and traditions. Like they are all there, like there are practices already there for a reason. And yeah, I think that's maybe like the connection here for you anyways, that you don't see it as like this form of control, but rather um you know, in a way control, but not in a way that you're pushing it on anybody else. But if you think about it, people have been existing for a while and have figured out certain things about themselves and how to deal with them and how to cope, how to feel connected. Um, and that's maybe something that you've been lacking. So you feel like I need to look for something that can ground me and can help me develop in this life because others have done it before me, right? And maybe people have different ways to do that, and maybe other people have found different things. But for you, maybe you needed to find the spiritual path. You know, everybody's a little bit different. So I feel like even, you know, when you are spiritual, everything is like still subjective in a way because it's all your own experience, right? Like kind of reflected in some kind of divine connection that has made you able to, you know, overcome certain things, overcome your own limitations, kind of, right? Like that's just the journey we're kind of all on as human beings. So yeah, anyways, let me continue with this reading because this was only the first card. So we have the King of Swords and it's reversed. So there is something about manipulation, and it also says manipulative, cruel, and weakness. So maybe this is even a weakness that you're kind of like triggering in certain people, that they maybe not don't have this connection, like this connection to their higher self or to a divine being or whatever it is. Like maybe they don't have practices like this. Um, and they may, you know, be manipulative or cruel because of that. Like they might be projecting a lot of things onto you, and yeah, the shift in your thinking or their thinking in that matter would be I choose kindness and integrity in every interaction. So maybe they will lash out at you or something because they're triggered in some way by the way you are, you know, developing yourself and your own spiritual practices and stuff like that. They may even be jealous, you know, they might be like, that's kind of what I'm seeing here when it comes to like weakness, because that's the thing that I see as weakness, that you would, you know, try to harm someone who is not doing anything to you. Like they're no threat to you, but because you perceive them as a threat to your own belief system, because it questions a lot of their belief systems or, you know, certain hierarchies. Um, and that's the thing, like people, if they have never questioned something like that, it can be very like kind of identity crushing, right? Like it's your, like maybe you, if especially if you are a religious person, like you have probably this tie to it, like as an identity, or like I am a Christian, I am a Muslim, I am this and that, because that is literally part of who I am, who I, you know, grew up to be, which is fair. But there's definitely also like a lot of nuance when it comes to it. Like you might be someone who does believe in God or whatever, does believe in a higher power, but maybe isn't as connected to your own community because you don't believe the way they believe. And, you know, there are maybe even within these groups, there is a lot of division or like a lot of diverse, you know, ways to interpret things. And especially also depends who you are as a human being on this earth and what, you know, this tradition teaches you about certain human beings and how they differ and how they're, you know, they're supposed to live their lives to be, you know, God worthy or whatever. So there's just a lot of layers when it comes to these things, and a lot of nuance and a lot of systems that are in place for a good reason. Like not good reason, I'm saying like there is a purpose to these things, and some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are abused by human beings, some of them aren't inherently bad, but it's like kind of the way of like how you interact with it, right? Like if you are a spiritual person and if you use tarot cards, for example, or whatever spiritual practice that you do, the question is, what do you do with it, right? Like, do you really take the bad parts, like the quote unquote bad parts, the shadow parts of yourself, and do you work through them, or do you only use your shadow side and that's how you walk through the world? Or like what do you do with the information that you get, right? Like you get downloads, you get more understanding, deeper understanding of yourself and others, and what do you do with that? Are you going to be a good person who's trying to make the world a better place, or are you going to be a bad person who's trying to make the world a worse place? Or are you going to be a neutral person who doesn't really use their strength for good or for bad? It's kind of like your choice in the end what you're going to do and what you think for yourself is the right thing to do in your life. So, yeah, that was a lot. Interesting. So, let me see the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. So it's like working without results, distractions, lack of rewards. So I feel like, yes, I think this will be a fruitless attempt. Like I feel like maybe people will try to intimidate you, or maybe they feel intimidated by you, like they might want to undermine you in a way because they're kind of like jealous. That's kind of what came through earlier, right? So I'm like, maybe this is kind of the way of like they might try something, but it's not going to work. Like nothing's going to work on you. Like these are all just distractions, and you're supposed to not listen to all of this noise. Um, and the shift in your thinking here is meaningful progress is found when I can refocus my efforts. So I feel like it's important for you to just focus on what you think is needed right now for you. Like listen to your own body, listen to your own needs. And if you feel the need to have a spiritual connection and have these practices in your life, and maybe even be private about it, not talk about it with people, or whatever you want to do, um, that you're content with that and that you're grounded within yourself and that you won't let other people decide your story or what you do in your life or anything, like, because you are your own person and you have your own experiences, and that is valid. And even if other people don't understand it, this doesn't change the fact that it is just your authentic, valid experience. Then we have the Four of Wands, and it is in the reverse. And, usually in the upward position, it's a very beautiful, harmonious card. So in the reverse, it means there is a lack of support. And I don't know what this word means. Transience? I don't know. Home conflicts. So there might be conflicts within the home, especially if there is like maybe this religious spiritual divide or something. Even though what I always would love to preach if I would feel the need to, is to set your differences aside, right? To come together and try to just make the situation better than it is, and rather than making it worse with just focusing on the dividing parts, right? Um, but yeah, and the shift in your thinking here is my time to shine will come. So I feel like maybe, sometimes people do need time to get adjusted to certain things in their lives and things that happen in other people's lives. And it's not to say that you should hold back. It's more about giving these people time to understand, and also taking the time for yourself, taking also sometimes being separated from certain people for some time if they don't, get it. Sometimes that's even necessary for you to do whatever you need to do to recenter yourself. Sometimes you really just need to get away from certain people in certain environments to help you even think clearly. And yeah, it's interesting because we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like, yes, there is some kind of emotional loss, emptiness, and also blocked creativity. So maybe that has been something has been coming up, or is something that could be coming up. The shift in your thinking is definitely, I open my heart to healing. So maybe it's also about you being open to things being able to change. Like maybe they are a little bit disharmonious, and maybe there will be some difficult situations, but it's kind of also telling you that that you can heal, but you have to also be willing to do that and be open to it, because otherwise you just can't receive it. Even if it's there for you, you have to let it in, because that's the thing. Like, you have the power in that moment. You can try to deflect and try to just avoid things, or you can be open to, healing conversations, healing situations, just for yourself, healing within yourself, letting yourself be graceful with yourself and the way you talk to yourself, right? And then we have the Fool right afterwards. So I feel like maybe this is a new beginning for you. This could be a new beginning. This could be something something to just, kind of walk into, of like maybe your healing journey, when I'm kind of thinking about that. Um Interesting. And then we have the Nine of Wands. So that's very interesting, very resilient, and like, this grit, last stand. The affirmation is I'm resilient. And that's the thing. I think it will teach you that you can stand in your power and that you can, you know, overcome difficult situations, because it's actually on the other side. On the other side, you're going to realize that you are resilient and that you can do these things even if they're difficult, right? And also, then again, it's the number 9, so it's fulfillment, idealism, inspiration. Like maybe that's even something that you were striving for, that you do become more resilient, and that you were like, that you feel able to even handle anything, because if you're able to handle things, you don't necessarily are dependent on other people. Like you want to be with certain people, and you're not like, I have to, connect with this person even though I don't like them, or I have some type of problem, or they're treating me bad. It's more like you can choose the people who are in your life, right? And who deserve to be in your life. Yeah, but it's interesting because, we do have the Six of Pentacles in the reverse right here. So that means like strings attached, right? Stinginess, power, and domination. And it kind of really ties into what I literally just said, that you can stand in your own power, and that, there might be situations again and again, they will come up probably throughout your life, where this resilience will be tested. It will be tested. Like I can already tell you that. So yeah, it's this like trying to get away from that. I think like the strings attached thing, like feeling like people and relationships have strings attached to them, and there is no unconditional love in that way. Um, yeah, the shift in your thinking would be, I balance giving and receiving to restore order to my relationships. So maybe you've been giving too much, is what I'm getting here, because receiving too much, I don't think so. Like the way this feels is more like you need to replenish yourself spiritually, right? You need to go on this journey that gives you energy. So that means that before you didn't have energy. Maybe you still have feelings of like, I feel like no energy, low energy, um even not even enough energy to take care of yourself, right? Because you're just thinking about other people, doing things for other people, or feeling obligated to. Even maybe the people themselves don't even like, aren't really aware of these things. They could be aware, but there's a chance that they're not. And sometimes it's literally just you standing in your power, saying no to something that will just change your entire life. Like you just won't even know what is possible, or how understanding people are actually are. Or if they're not understanding and really demand things from you, you will understand how toxic they are. Like even if you're not doing well and you can't do something, they still expect you to do it. That is a good sign that they don't actually appreciate you and the effort you put in to whatever you're doing for them. Or so either way, it's a win situation. You will learn something from it, and it will give you more information. So let me just see if I can really quickly get an oracle card before this ends, because I really don't want to do so long. I can just pick one, I think. Is picking okay? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, we'll pick one really quickly. Just the top one I have here. Alright, that's beautiful. So we have fruit, which is achievement and success. So whatever's going on here, you're going to be successful. And people might still not like it, but you are going to be successful in the end. So it's not really like, you're going to go on your journey and that's what you wanted to do. And it doesn't really matter how people feel about it. Like you will just be able to separate yourself from that and understand that other people's feelings are not your feelings, and you're not responsible for everything that other people are going through. And you don't have to save everyone. It doesn't mean you should be a crappy human being, but it just means that you need to have healthy boundaries that you can maintain, and where you're going to be okay. And once you're okay, you will also be able to help other people if they want that or deserve that, from your perspective and your relationship. Yeah, that will be your own decision, but yeah, it seems like you will be successful. Look at this beautiful juicy colors card. This is going to be some nice fruit for you to enjoy. All right. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm gonna love you and leave you. Remember that joy is resistance, so please keep resisting. All right. I wish you all the best. Love you. Till next time. Bye bye.